Okay, what is your reaction to today's results?
Oh my gosh, I think we're all really excited. We worked really hard for this, and we made a lot of connections with the voters. And I'm very humbled by the experience.
Do you think the weather had a major impact on voter turnout?
Actually, we thought it might, but this is a really important election. It's an important time in the country's history, and I think people recognize what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish, and they came out. So we thought it might, because it has in the past, but it didn't seem to this time.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the town over the next 2 years?
The biggest ones are going to be economic development, the educational system, and the environment. So we've got a lot of challenges, fiscal and otherwise, on the table. But those are the top three.
How do you think today's national political climate affected today's results?
Well, on the one hand, it didn't affect it as much as you would think, in the sense that it rallies both our base and the base of the other side. But admittedly, the local Republicans did a few things this election that I think resembled activities or actions that the National Party might take, and I think it hurt them. I think people are rejecting that. So it did more than yes. Short answer.
What do you think was the biggest single issue on the minds of voters today?
That's a tough one. We heard a lot from the residents when we were going door to door. There's one thing that seems to be a consistent message that we hear, though, is that people aren't disgruntled. They're not unhappy. They're happy with the way the town is going. So the big issues that we have are how to handle, like I mentioned, the economic development with EB growing and other companies coming in, how to market the vacant school properties, get them back on the tax rolls. Or, conversely, not every school property needs to be developed. We'll have some open space that we can add to the town's registry as well. So when we heard some things about taxes, obviously we're doing our best to manage the fiscal stability of the town while meeting educational requirements and all the other services that are required by our residents.
What will today's results mean for the RTM?
Well, for the RTM, I would say it remains in Democratic hands, obviously, but that means stability in the leadership of the RTM. Will keep the same moderator, most likely. A lot of the committees will stay the same. We have some new members who are joining, and this is traditionally a nonpartisan party, a nonpartisan group of people. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll remain.
What are some of the key issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years?
Well, the big one obviously is closing the deal on Groton 2020. They need to get all the schools merged together, get the programs set up and established, and really start to make an impact on the educational future of the students. And they need to do it in such a way that's fiscally responsible and looks out for the needs of the students, the residents, and the teachers. So they've got a lot on their plate, and I couldn't say more about Kim Shepherdson Watson and Rita Volkman for getting reelected, and then we had 3 additional choices for the Democratic voters, and Liz Porter pulled it out, and she came up third, and she's going to be on there. That's great, and so just a lot of work for them to do. I hope they're ready for it.
Okay, is there anything else that you would like to tell the Groton community?
I'm just happy that we're able to lead you, to be your leadership, and to do it. We're trying our best to do it in an open and transparent process. And it's been great talking to people door to door, and we'll just keep being involved in the community in every way that we can, so that we can make sure that we hear everybody's concerns and respond, and make Groton a better place for all of us, so it keeps moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your reaction to today's results?
So my reaction for today's results is that we worked hard. We were outworked. However, we put our best foot forward, and we congratulate the Democrats for winning again. And we are going to work harder again in 2 years.
Do you think the weather had a major impact on voter turnout?
I absolutely do think that the weather had a major impact. I had to change my outfit 3 times because I was soaked all the way through. I'm assuming if it was a better day, we'd probably have a more positive result, but I think it affected the numbers for both us and the Democrats.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the town over the next 2 years?
I think the biggest challenges that will face the town over the next 2 years is how we move forward, especially since we started moving money from our rainy day fund. How do we continue to grow and not raise our taxes? And how do we continue to attract businesses if we raid our rainy day fund?
How do you think today's national political climate affected today's results?
As much as I hate to agree with this, I think the national climate affected our results dramatically. I think people in Connecticut don't realize that our Republicans are much different than those in Washington. We're much more socially diverse and socially liberal Republicans here, and I think our town people don't see that. We have a very solid stance on our social issues, but we're very fiscally conservative, and I think unfortunately D.C. continues to affect the Republicans throughout the nation.
What do you think was the biggest single issue on the minds of the voters today?
I can say from a Republican standpoint, the biggest view of the voters today was the use of the rainy day fund to balance our budget. But I think overall, the biggest issue from both sides was the climate in Washington and how it's affecting the entire nation.
What will today's results mean for the RTM?
I think today's results for the RTM were great. We got some seats back as Republicans that were previously empty, and I think it's going to help the town move forward with a more diverse RTM. And I think the council will have a lot of work working together with the added Republicans, but I think it will help Groton move in the right direction.
What are some of the key issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years?
I think some of the key issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years are how do we move forward with the middle school that's almost finished, complete our elementary schools, and how do we move forward with the possible changes in our student enrollment with the possibility of new submarines coming to the Groton subbase. And I think how do we continue to maintain some of the other schools that we haven't renovated and keep that budget as close to zero as possible. And also the other issue we face over the next 2 years is whether we lose the Alliance District funding or not, because that will create a huge hole in our budget.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would like to add that I think everyone had a great campaign on both sides of the aisle. I think we all did what we thought was right for Groton. I congratulate Conrad and all the Democrat Town Committee for their hard work. I congratulate all the Republican candidates that went out in the rain and then knocked doors when it was triple E threats and when it was cold. And I just think everybody on both sides did an amazing job, and I couldn't be more proud of both parties.
Thank you very much.